Hello, my name is Ken Thiefalt. I'm a scientist and clinical researcher, and I'm the president of Canzyme Laboratories, where we specialize in the development and manufacture of industrial ozone machines for air and water purification. We also do research on the use of ozone for medical and veterinarian purposes. Ozone, an allotropic form of oxygen, possesses unique properties which are being defined and applied to biological systems as well as to clinical practice. As a molecule containing a large excess of energy, ozone, through incompletely understood mechanism, manifests bactericidal, virucidal, and fungicidal actions which may make it a treatment of choice in certain conditions and an adjunct to treatment in others. The oxygen atom exists in nature in several forms. As a free atomic particle, O, it is highly reactive and unstable. Oxygen O2, its most common and stable form, is colorless as a gas and pale blue as a liquid. Ozone O3 has a molecular weight of 48, a density 1.5 times that of oxygen, and contains a large excess of energy in its molecule. It has a bond angle of 127 degrees plus or minus 3 degrees, resonates among several forms, is distinctly blue as a gas and dark blue as a solid. Ozone is a powerful oxidant, surpassed in this regard only by fluorine. Ozone is best known for its protective role in the Earth's ecological harmony and for its interaction at ground level with industrial pollutants. It has unique biological properties which are being investigated for applications in various medical fields. As early as the First World War, ozone's bactericidal properties were used to treat infected wounds, mustard gas, burns, and fistulas. In the last few years, ozone treatment has seen growing interest from diverse medical disciplines, and research is in progress to delineate its effects on biological systems and to define its clinical applications. The history of ozone's discovery is intrinsically entwined in the evolution of the earliest concepts in chemistry. Two early scientists, Priestley and Cavendish, noted that electrical sparks fired in a close volume of air resulted in volume compression. In 1785, Martinus van Marum, subjecting oxygen to electrical discharges, noted the odor of electrical matter and the accelerated oxidization of mercury. In 1840, Schonbein, repeating these experiments, concluded that this odor was due to a gas which he named ozone, and he described several of its properties. Numerous researchers since that time have worked to elucidate the nature and actions of ozone. Still today, theoretical issues remain regarding its electron structure, the varieties of its molecular configuration, and its kinetics. Marinac and Delarive showed that it is an allotropic form of oxygen, and Millikan and Dewar clarified its molecular architecture. The ability of ozone to destroy toxic or noxious industrial impurities and to inactivate bacterial contaminants in sewage has made it an attractive alternative to chlorinization. Wiesbaden became the first city to use ozonization for purification of its drinking water in 1901. That was followed by Zurich, Florence, Brussels, Singapore, and Moscow, which was the largest installation in the world until the recent opening of the world's largest ozone purification plant in Los Angeles. The production of ozone oxygen mixtures for human and veterinary and therapeutic applications is subject to important technical considerations and standards. Clinical ozone generators, which regulate the flow of oxygen through high voltage tubes with outputs ranging from 4,000 volts to 14,000 volts, are capable of producing precise ozone oxygen mixtures within concentration ranges extending to 5%. Since the half-life of ozone is 45 minutes at 20 degrees centigrade, in 2 hours losing its concentration to 16% of its initial value, it must be freshly generated for immediate use at the treatment site. Now that we've covered the technical aspect of ozone, I'd like to speak to you from my experience. The planet depends on ozone for its own survival. The removal of pollutants on the earth are done by ozone, naturally produced ozone. Ozone is produced naturally on this earth by a photochemical reaction of the UV light of the sun reacting with the ozone, or with the oxygen in our atmosphere. When people tell you that there's holes in the ozone layer, it has absolutely nothing to do with shaving cream or hairspray. What it has to do with was a lack of oxygen in our atmosphere. 4,000 years ago, the oxygen level on the earth was 38%. Today, it's less than 18%. Some of the industrial cities are down to less than 6 or 7%. Now, we need at least 15% oxygen in the atmosphere to survive. What does that mean to us? It means that we're going to have very sick people, and a lot of the population is going to be sick. Because without oxygen, you get no oxidization. Without oxidization, you get cells that cannot be removed from the body, and you're going to die in your own waste. People die in their own waste. The law of histological return says that all forms of creation die in their own waste. If you don't believe me, put a sack over your head. In 30 seconds, you'll be dead. Take a sack and put it over a plant, and in a very short time, that plant will be dead. And it's producing the oxygen that we need to survive. What am I saying? I'm saying that every created substance, every created thing will live or die in its own wastes. Now, the only way that you're going to live is to remove those wastes from your body. The only way the planet lives is to remove that waste from itself. The thing that removes waste in the planet is ozone. How does it work? As we explained to you earlier, ozone is a very, very powerful oxidizer. It oxidizes anything. It's a 3-molecule atom. The third molecule actually combines with a pollutant and destroys it. What I mean by destroy it, it oxidizes it, it disappears, leaving pure oxygen in its wake. That's what the ozone does in the planet. When you're in Los Angeles or Denver or New York, any of the high pollutant cities, they're always giving you on the radio the ozone level. And they consider that a toxic level, a level of pollution. What it really is the planet protecting itself from pollution. Without ozone, there would be no oxidization of those pollutants, and soon we'd have a polluted ball for a planet. The same thing happens in your body. When ozone is applied to a virus, is applied to a bacteria, or any foreign substance, anything of a plant physiology in your body, it oxidizes it. And by oxidizing it, it removes it from your body. That's the exact same thing that is happening in the earth with naturally produced ozone, we do in the body with our artificially produced ozone. Now, if you had enough oxygen in your body would produce the ozone it needs and take care of it itself, because the electrical charges in your body actually produce ozone. Now, as you can see, the Earth 4,000 years ago was a green globe, and the air in the atmosphere was a dark blue. It was highly enriched with oxygen, 38%. There was no problem with ozone because the UV light from the sun was photochemically changing the oxygen to ozone, and we had a very strong ozone layer. Today, with 18% oxygen, there's just not enough oxygen to produce the ozone that we need to protect this planet. What am I saying? I'm saying if you took a computer model from 4,000 years ago and extended it through this age we live in, you would find that in 40 years there will not be enough oxygen on the planet for survival. We will not be able to survive on this planet in another 40 years just because of the loss of oxygen. Where's all the oxygen gone? Well, 4,000 years ago, the entire continent of Europe was deciduous forests. Today, that forest is a small 5-mile square in the eastern border of Poland. That's all of left of the forest that at one time covered the entire continent of Europe. The Mideast was forested. Israel was forested. Down through Egypt, it was all forested. We weren't dependent entirely on the rainforests of South America for our oxygen like we are today. Today we're entirely dependent on those rainforests. If those rainforests are destroyed, we're going to be dead quicker than the 40 years that I talked about earlier. We have to take care of our planet. On the other hand, we have to take care of our bodies. Nature is designed the planet to protect itself with ozone. Nature has designed our body to protect ourselves with ozone. If we can get the waste out of our body, if we can get the toxins out of our body, the toxemia out of our body, we will never be sick. You will never be sick of any disease. I don't care whether you want to, diabetes, cancer, any of the diseases that are around. If you can get the waste out of your body, you will never, ever be sick. There is a mass of clinical data on the use of ozone in medicine. In Europe, it's been used for years. At least 70 years it's been accepted practice in Germany to use ozone. It's been used in many, many types of things. In the treatment of hepatitis, in the treatment of herpes, the treatment of cancer, the treatment of AIDS, the treatment of gangrene. There's a almost unlimited list of what's treated with ozone in Europe, successfully, I might add. Ozone is as close to being the magic bullet as you can find. If you apply ozone to the body correctly, in the proper places, it will almost always cure whatever disease is affecting the body. That's the key. You have to apply it in the right place. I could give you a few anecdotal histories and things that have happened, things that we've done. For example, in dairy industry, you can eliminate mastitis in a cow overnight using ozone. Simply by using a cannula and injecting ozone directly into the udder, it will eliminate in 12 hours all the mastitis in a cow. What that means is you could probably, if you used ozone in the water and ozone in the milking barn, you could probably eliminate the use of antibiotics in dairy herds. What does that mean to the dairy industry? You would eliminate a third of the deaths of cows. You'd eliminate the contamination of milk. You'd eliminate all these things just simply by using an ozone generator. It's so simple, it's almost frightening that we don't do it. In the treatment of people, you can eliminate gangrene. Now, gangrene is considered incurable, untreatable. The only way you treat it is you do amputations. But you can eliminate gangrene in people with the use of ozone. And it's simply by blowing the gas onto the decubitus ulcer, you can heal it in extremely short times. As a matter of fact, ozone gas on a decubitus ulcer will turn to black to pink while you're watching. The amazing thing about ozone is how quickly it works. It works extremely quickly. If you can apply it to the area of stress in your body, it will always eliminate that area of stress. And it's very selective. It does not harm healthy flesh. It only oxidizes unhealthy flesh, or as I like to call the herbal or plant physiologies. It'll oxidize them very, very quickly. And most of the diseases we're afflicted with come from a plant physiology. They're caused by fermentation, by fermentation of the body, and the fermentation starts very quickly and very easily. If you don't chew your food, you're going to get fermentation in your stomach. And where's that going to go to? Fermentation in your stomach, you're going to have rot. Fermentation is going to go into your colon the same way, and death starts in the colon. That's very simple. If you can't keep the fermentation cleaned out, you are going to have that in your bloodstream and in your body, and you're going to have problems. The key to staying healthy is clean the toxins from your body. And that's what ozone does better than any other substance that I know of. It cleans the toxins from the body. Formaldehyde is the cause of almost all illness in man. It's the cause of cancer. It's the cause of many, many illnesses, formaldehyde. Now when people die, they don't even bother to, they don't even really have to embalm them. They're so full of formaldehyde. The formaldehyde is what killed them. The law of histological returns that I referred to earlier. There is waste in the body. The waste has to be removed, and it doesn't happen. Formaldehyde is also the cause of life. And the Bible says, living you will die. And this is absolutely true. Formalin, which is a watery form of formaldehyde, is present in the sperm. When that sperm when that sperm gets to the egg for conception, that's what causes that rapid cell growth. That formaldehyde at the other end of the spectrum is what causes that rapid cell growth in your body. Death. So formalin, a form of formaldehyde, is the cause of life. Formaldehyde is in almost all cases the cause of death. The exact enemy of formaldehyde is ozone. Formaldehyde will remove ozone. Ozone will destroy formaldehyde in every case. In every single case, ozone will eliminate formaldehyde whenever it comes in contact with it. And if you eliminate the formaldehyde from your body, my friend, you're going to live a very long time. You will not have the waste product in your body that normally kills people. Now, when you talk about the applications of ozone, that is probably the critical area. You need to put the ozone in the body where it can do the most good. Now, how do we do that? We do it several ways. Back in the 30s, German doctors found that by using what they call insufflations, they could get ozone into the body and very efficiently. A rectal insufflation is where you will inject 350 to 500 cc's of ozone directly into the rectum. The colon expands with it, and the hemorrhoidal vein picks it up from the colon and carries it through the body with about 70% effectiveness. So you can get as much as 350 cc's of ozone directly into your bloodstream with a simple rectal insufflation. Another way we just blow it into the ears. Blowing it into the ears is an extremely effective way of cleaning out sinus problems, cleaning out head problems, helping your eyes, and doing this type of thing. We have what we call a body purification unit, which is nothing more than a vinyl bag where we get inside the bag with way you do it is you take a warm shower, get inside the bag, blow the ozone into the bag, and the body absorbs through the epidermis, through the skin, a huge amount of ozone. And it's very good for you. It has very valid cosmetic purposes. It's just very, very good for you, and it will detoxify you as quick as anything I can think of. These are just some of the ways we put ozone into the body. These are just some of the ways we get ozone to where it can do the most good. A doctor I know of in Mississippi recently cured 248 cases of AIDS, and I'm not talking about put them in remission. I'm saying he cured them using ozone. How did he do it? He used 3 different methods, but he was able to cure AIDS, completely removed from the system. There were no markers, there were no carriers of any kind in these 248 people, simply with the use of ozone. He was then put out of business and he can't do it anymore, but that's what I'm saying. This is what you can use to do it. The only thing he used besides the ozone was glutathione peroxidase, which was amino acid, which is, that's the only thing he used besides the ozone. So what you can do with ozone is almost miraculous. Most people tell you there are no cures for cancer. Well, that's hogwash. Ozone will cure cancer. Most people will tell you there's no cures for AIDS. That's hogwash. Ozone will cure AIDS. The problem is getting through the bureaucracy of the United States government to use it. Now, they use it in Europe, but even in Europe it's somewhat restricted because of the fact that it's cheap. Ozone is a very cheap product to use. There are not too many people who are interested in cheap cures for anything. But I'll guarantee you, ozone will cure almost any disease. If you add a few enzymes and add a few electrical things, I can say you could probably cure 99% of the diseases in the world simply with using ozone. There have been many published reports of the effectiveness of ozone in the treatment of cancer. The earliest report in the United States was in 1888. In the Journal of the American Medical Association, a doctor published a report how he had cured 2 women of cancer of the uterus using nothing but ozone. Since that time, most of the reports that have been generated have come from Europe, but there are at least 10,000 cases where doctors have published reports of how they have cured cancer, herpes, and any other infectious disease use an ozone. It's a highly documented and it's a highly published thing. In the United States, the federal government's position on this is that ozone has no proven therapeutic benefits. Well, that is just flying tremendously in the face of all the published information that comes from around the world. What we're saying is we don't trust anybody else from around the world. I don't think that's the cause. The thing is that you can get yourself well very cheaply, very inexpensively with ozone, probably more inexpensively than any other product. And it can treat many, many illnesses. It can treat anything from earache to cancer, to AIDS, to diabetes, to colitis, to Crohn's disease. And the list is endless of the things you can treat with ozone. If you just want to feel better, if you want to live longer, ozone treatments are fabulous. If you want to look better, the cosmetic application of ozone is absolutely unbelievable. I'd like to introduce you to an ozone, modern ozone machine. As you can see, it's readily portable. You can carry it with you on an airplane, in the car. Opening it up, it's complete. Has everything inside it, oxygen, and all the necessary electronics. I'll plug it in to a normal wall outlet, 110 volt, which is all that's required. And then we'll plug in our humidifier, our bottled water. Turn on the power, the oxygen, set the oxygen at 0.5 liter per minute flow, and we're ready to go. Now, this machine is designed to run in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or extended time. Various treatments require some of the treatments require 30 seconds, some require 60 seconds, and some require the machine to operate continuously. I'm going to set it now to operate continuously, and all I have to do is push the start button. The machine will now operate continuously, and as you'll notice, the bubble humidifier is bubbling as the oxygen goes through the machine, goes through the high voltage part of it, and comes out through the bubble humidifier. We're now producing oxygen, or ozone, excuse me, that is of a quality that if you wanted, you could do IV injections with it. I'll show you how potent it is and how it operates. This is a latex glove. You remember earlier in our talk, I said that it reacted strongly to plant physiology. Well, this glove is plant physiology. Latex comes from the rubber tree, and that's what this is, a latex glove. As you can see, when I apply ozone to it, just this invisible gas, it oxidizes the glove directly off my hand. It's not harming the hand underneath it, it's simply oxidizing the latex. It's exactly what it does to disease in your body. It's exactly what ozone does to pollutants in the planet. It oxidizes them and they disappear. There's no trick to this. It's simply ozone gas oxidizing plant physiology. And that's exactly how the planet protects itself from pollutants, and it's how ozone will cure your body or the body of animals of almost any disease. You notice my hand underneath it is not being harmed at all. Ozone is very selective. It will not harm healthy flesh. Now, if I'm going to use ozone on the body, there are several ways to do it. One of the most popular and oldest ways is you do a rectal or vaginal insufflations. To do a insufflation, we use a catheter. Like this. Simply insert the catheter into the rectum about 4 inches, use it for 60 seconds, and your body will absorb about 350 cc's of ozone into the bloodstream. The other common ways we do it are using a large vinyl bag Go take a hot shower, get into the bag with no clothes on. If you wear any clothes, it'll end up like that glove, oxidized off of you. And spend about 30 minutes, with this machine delivering ozone into the bag. It's cosmetically one of the finest treatments you can take. Your body will absorb a tremendous amount of ozone. You'll feel good and you will look good following that treatment. It's absolutely wonderful for you, therapeutically. There are other ways we use ozone. We use it in the ears. It'll eliminate earaches. Normally when you put it in the ear, it's warm for a few seconds as it burns out the bacteria that are in your ears, and then it'll turn cool. But it'll penetrate the eardrum very quickly, go into your sinuses, into the sinus cavity. It'll clean out the eustachian tubes. If there's any bacteria behind the eyes, any candida or anything like that, it'll burn it out. It'll burn it out immediately. What we have here is something that doesn't work over a period of months or years. It works almost instantly. You get almost instant healing with ozone. Most of the treatments done with ozone are done out of the country because of restrictions from the FDA, but this type of machine here, which is designed for industrial uses, can be modified to do the type of thing I'm talking about, and it's available in the United States. These machines are available for $4,800. They're available from our company, and if you'd like to get in contact with us, just please see whoever you got the tape from. Thank you very much.